6.
He telling you who enslaved or who taken crafty counsel. Go ahead.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and Moab and the Hagrizim.
You see what it says? The tabernacle of Edom. Ishmaelites. That's from Ishmael, Abraham's first son.
That's right.
They have taken crafty counsel. Who you think the brothers, the 12 tribes of Israel sold Joseph to? They sold him to the Ishmaelites, the Arabs. They've been selling us for a long time. How can you be a part of this Arab religion? How can you be a part of this? It's not biblical. We're going to look at a little history, and we're going to show you what these people did to us. It's Babylon Timbuktu by Dr. Rudolph Windsor. We're going to read a little history about how these people taking crafty counsel against us to make sure that we don't know who we are. I'm going to read it right here. See, one thing Muhammad knew, if the Israelites still in power, I can't bring Islam. And he gonna do a genocide amongst the Israelites. Genocide means that he gonna kill a lot of us just to keep this Islam religion going. Because he knows if it's an Israelite there, he can decipher what God wants from the Bible. Understand, this is an illiterate person. He couldn't read all right. Go ahead, brother.
So it was with Muhammad.
This page 50, if you got a copy, the page 50 in Babylon Timbuktu.
He had come to a point of no return. He became a religious extremist in order to
So
it was with Muhammad.
It's with Muhammad. Go ahead.
He had come to a point of no return. He became a religious extremist in order to give his people a better life on a rapid scale.
He wanted Islam to take off. He wanted to take off real fast. And look how he gonna do it. Go ahead.
Muhammad came to the conclusion that all means of persuasion had been exalted.
He's like, man, I've been trying to persuade these people. Now I'm at my ends with. I'm going to do something drastic. Go ahead.
The period of patience was past, and he was now determined to propagate his religion by the sword.
He said, now I'm gonna try to propagate, meaning that I'm gonna institute this religion by what? A sword. Listen how he did it. Go ahead.
For he said, I, last of the prophets, am sent with the sword.
He said, I, last of the prophet. Who are the prophets? Israel is the prophet. But he gonna claim to be the prophet. Muhammad can't be a prophet. He's not from the seed of Ishmael. He's not from the seed of Isaac. He's from the seed of Ishmael. Go ahead.
The sword is the key to heaven and hell.
He said the sword, meaning that the sword that he killed with is the key to heaven and hell. Let's show you what he's talking about, the key now. Go ahead.
All who draw it in the name of the faith will be rewarded. Muhammad became a mortal prophet, and the pagans and stubborn Jews became his victims.
See what I'm saying? The pagan and the stubborn Jew became his victim because he knew he had to get them out of the way. Go ahead. This is how he got them out of the way.
Continue reading this one.
Yeah.
In the year 627, the battle of the Fosse occurred.
This is the battle. He had a battle at the time. And I can say he was at his ends with. He had no patience for this. He wanted Islam to be the main religion. He wanted to be the main religion. This is what he did. Go ahead.
The Jewish tribes were defeated by the armies of Muhammad. 700 Jews were gathered in the marketplace and offered the alternative. See,
where 700 Jews was offered an alternative, an option. Either you do this or either you do that. This is the option. Go ahead.
The Quran or the sword.
He said you go choose the Quran or the sword. Which one you choose? He goes, look, you want to choose the Quran, do what the Quran say, or you going to choose the sword, I'm going to kill you. Go ahead.
But the devout Jews were accustomed to martyrdom. They did not hesitate in their choice. Muhammad carried out his bestial threat, executed the Jews, and the women were sold.
You see what I'm saying? He executed, he killed all the Jews that didn't choose the Quran. He took their sword and he killed them. And one thing about it, he sold their women to the other nations. That's it for that?
Yeah.
No. Let's look at this verse right here, 48 of where Muhammad is. This page 48. Now, I'm going to show you how he cherry picked our law and how he came up with it. This man was illiterate. He couldn't come up with this. He couldn't come up with this Quran on his own mental ability. He had to plagiarize the Bible to get it to come to pass. Go ahead, bro.
Muhammad adopted also the main detail of the Jewish calendar.
So he adopted the main detail of the Jewish calendar, meaning that like the days we celebrate, the Passover, Day of Atonement, all this stuff, he adopted from his religion, for his religion. Go ahead.
The Day of Atonement, the Sabbath, much of the Bible, and narratives from the Midrash.
Go ahead.
And many points of the ritual law.
So he adopted. He could come up with this on his own. That's when you got Ramadan, where they fasting a whole day. They came up with that. They do it for, I think they do it for a whole month. He came up with the Sabbath. But most of the Muslims don't even honor the Sabbath. And it's in their book.
Exactly.
It's in their book about honoring the Sabbath. Go ahead, bro.
Incidentally, the Jews pray 3 times a day facing the city of Jerusalem, and the Muslim true believers pray 5 times a day facing the city of Mecca.
See, he cherry picking. This is when Daniel was praying 3 times a day to Jerusalem. We pray toward Jerusalem. It's in the book that tells us to pray toward Jerusalem for power. But he said, look, I'm going to do it 5 times. Where did he get that from? He got it from the book of Daniel. Go ahead.
Trying his best, Muhammad sought to convert the Jews to his new religion, but no avail. The Jews were adamant and resisted to change. The high esteem which the prophet held for the Jews was transformed to enmity.
See, that's his skill right there. See what he done? He went to killing people. He said, look, you going to choose the Quran or you choose the sword? The same thing that Willie Lynch did, the same thing the slave master did. They gave you the God of the Gentiles. They put their nation above nation. They taught you out of their Sunday churches. They gave you Sunday. They gave you Good Friday. They gave you Easter. They gave you Christmas. They gave you all this stuff that you cannot read in the Bible what God gave you. He gave us the holy days, his law. This is what he gave us. Now let's get this in the Quran. We're going back to chapter 2 and verse 65. Verse 65. So 65 and 66. Now he said he adopted our Sabbaths, which is Day of Atonement, the Passover, and all this stuff. He adopted from us. Listen to what he said right here.
And indeed you know those among you who violated the Sabbath. So we said to them, be as apes, despised and hated.
You see what he said? In the Quran, he said, don't despise the Sabbath. If you despise the Sabbath, he look at you being an ape. He look at you being one of the lowest creatures of the earth, an animal. But do the Muslim today honor the Sabbath? No, they honor it. This is what the Holy Quran said. This is what their Bible say, Allah. This is what they say. Go ahead.
So we made them an example to those who witnessed it and those who came after it, and admonition to those who guard against evil.
See what he said? The Sabbath pointed toward the new millennium, which is 1,000 years. If you honor the Sabbath now, so you understand that it's going to be 1,000-year Sabbath upon this earth when Jesus come back and take his throne. If you don't honor the Sabbath now, how you gonna take part in the new Jerusalem, the new kingdom?
Come on.
You're gonna be the first one killed when you going out there trying to cook, clean, do all this stuff on the Sabbath day because you don't have the instruction. It's certain bylaws that we must go by on the Sabbath day. That's why I tell people, read this stuff, get it right. Let's go to Ezekiel. I know we almost finished. Ezekiel chapter 22. Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 25. This is what we must do. We must follow these laws. If we don't follow these laws and know these laws, guess what? You won't be in the kingdom, I'm telling you. You gotta take time out and read it for yourself because I can't put it in your mind. Mr. LC can't put it in your mind. Only way we can put it in your mind if you read it and take it upon yourself to study it. Listen to what he said right here. Ezekiel chapter 22 verse 25 about his Sabbath. Go ahead and read it, bro.
There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion raving the prey.
He said there's conspiracy amongst who? Her prophets, meaning Israelites. They don't want to talk to nations not to stop doing the Sabbath. Our people. Go ahead.
They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof.
Talking about her prophets, how they taken away this law and made the people many widows. Go ahead.
Her priests have violated my law.
Her priests, meaning that Israel, her priests have violated the law. Go ahead.
And have profaned mine holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and the profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbath, and I am profaning among them.
You see what he said? Have hid their eyes from my Sabbath. You tell these folks about the Sabbath day, they look at you like, huh? Sunday? No, the seventh day of the week. Sunday is the first day of the week.
Come on.
But they say the Sabbath is on the Sunday. Go look in the history. Go look in your dictionary and find out what is the first day and what's the seventh day. And I go even further than that back in history, to make you understand. In 327 AD, a Roman ruler by the name of Constantine changed the Sabbath day from the seventh day to the first day.
Yes, he did.
To worship his God, which is the sun. And got most of these Christians today, they are following after Sunday. They have sunrise service. Where they getting it from? They ain't getting it out of here. They said their priests had hid their eyes from what? Their Sabbaths, her Sabbaths. Verse 27, look at that.
Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves raving the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain.
To get what?
Dishonest gain.
How they get dishonest gain? Oh, we ain't gonna mess with your regular week's partying. We gonna make sure we go to church on the day, on the Sunday, where they say it's okay, because all the Gentile nations, they know that we put this Sunday upon the earth to worship. Well, I ain't gonna say all of them know, but this is where this Sunday came from. Now you tell them about going to church on the Saturday? Oh no. They get dishonest gain by having you going to church on the day that their slave master told them to go to church on, which is Sunday. You can't find Sunday worship in the Bible. Only time we're going to worship on the Sunday is Pentecost. That's it. It's nothing wrong with you going to church. We talking about having a holy convocation. We talking about putting away all your work. We talking about putting away all your cooking, cleaning, doing all this stuff on God's holy day. He said, if you refrain from doing your pleasure on my day, I'm going to remember you.
Amen. Amen.
I'm going to remember you.
Come on,
But if you don't do that, he's not going to remember you. This is what he's telling us. But we get in our mind, oh man, that preacher don't know what you're talking about. And they don't read it. I'm reading. Let's look at this in the, we got 3 more scriptures after this and we're done. This is still in the same book, Babylon 10:2, this page 49. Sorry. This is what Muhammad did. He did like this all the other nations, making it easier for you to go to church on his day. He like other nations. The Muslim, they still go to church on Sunday, just like the regular Christian. They do the same thing. This is where they get it from. Go ahead.
Muhammad changed the Jewish Sabbath from Saturday to Friday.
He's saying, he changed what?
The Jewish Sabbath.
The Saturday, the Jews' Saturday to Friday. Go ahead.
We have another parallel with Christianity. In the 4th century, the church changed the Sabbath to Sunday and reorganized its calendar to make Easter separate of Passover.
You see what I'm saying? He said we have a parallel with the Christians, meaning that we're going to worship on Sunday too, just like the Christians, so we can make it easier for them to come to church and do what we tell them to do. Because it already been instituted that Sunday is the church day. Go ahead, jump out and read that. You finish that?
Then I got to deal more.
Okay.
Like Christianity, Muhammad, in order to win the pagans into the church, Christianity adopted many barbaric customs and traditions.
You see what he said? In order to get them in the church, he adopted many of the pagan ways. How you gonna get them in church today? Tell them we got a Christmas party. Tell them we got Easter egg hunt. Tell them we got all this stuff that's already been instituted. They coming by the boatload. They coming because of what? Their fathers, their mothers have taught them. This is what we do on these days. And they got it from these pagans and from Islam. Go ahead, brother.
Likewise, Muhammad, to gain the loyalty of the pagan Arabs, adopted many of their beloved customs.
Yes, sir.
The Kaaba,
The Kaaba stone.
the Kaaba stone, an idol, was to receive high regard in the new religion. Also, the pagan temple at Mecca was to remain as a holy site.
You see what I'm saying? The Kaaba stone is when most Muslims, when they become supposedly, okay, I accept it, they're going to take a pilgrimage to Mecca. And they got a big stone with a building around, a meteor, that's all it is, a rock. And you can pull this up on the internet. It's about 1,000 upon 1,000 of them bowing down to this stone. They doing it. They doing it, bowing down to this stone. And this is what God telling us. He said, look, you're going to go and worship after these people? They're bowing down to a stone. The Kaaba stone. Look it up for yourself. They're going to take a pilgrimage, meaning they're going to fly over there to America. They're supposed to get some type of blessing for going out and bowing before that stone. Let's look at what God said in his book about bowing down. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20, and we got one more after Exodus chapter 20. We'll be done. Exodus chapter 20, verse 5. Go ahead, brother. Let me get it. This is what God said about bowing down to idols. That's an idol. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me.
Of them that hate me. If you bow down to this Kaaba stone, or you worship in Islam, which our fathers say not to do, you are hated. You hate God. You ain't following him. You're not following the God of Israel.
Absolutely.
You got to follow him. And this is an advantage that we have amongst all nations, that God gave this to us to preach to the nation. Let's go to Romans chapter 3, and we finish after this. Romans chapter 3 and verse 1. I had to get this out, y'all. Because I come in contact with a whole lot of Muslims. And these are good brothers. I ain't going to tell them a lie. They are very good brothers. Like I said, this is not a malicious attack on these brothers because they trying to learn. A lot of them trying to learn. Romans chapter 3, we'll start at verse 1. Go ahead, bro.
What advantage then has the Jews? Or what profit is there of circumcision?
See, this is an advantage of being a Jew. It's a very big advantage because God entrusted his laws with us. Go ahead.
Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
You see what I'm saying? That's why we went back and gave you the foundation of Ishmael, the foundation of Isaac, the foundation of Jacob, the foundation of the 12 tribes of Israel. All of this stuff has a big place in God's book. But if you serve in Islam, you follow after Ishmael. But if you serve in Israel, you follow after Isaac, which is the covenant was established with his people, which are Israelites. This thing is real deep, y'all. It's real deep. Go ahead.
For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
See, this said, what if some don't believe? Believe me. These messages, you gonna tell these folks about this stuff, they ain't gonna believe it. But it don't make these prophecies not true. It's gonna come to pass. Go ahead.
God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar.
Yes, sir.
As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged.
See what he said? He said, look, you might overcome when you are judged. If you don't know who Israel is, if you don't know the laws of Israel, you're going to be judged by every single one of these laws. You're going to be standing up there to God and say, I ain't know about this, I ain't know about that. He going to say, look, I gave it to you, right here. I gave it to you, right here. You just didn't take time to read it. You didn't take time. Like a lot of people, they look at this thing, look at the Bible as a fiction book. And it's got all the history of our people and of the world and stuff. You got kings. You got all these people. You got, what, Alexander the Great. You got King Cyrus, King Darius. You got Nebuchadnezzar. All these kings inside the Bible that you can line up in history. But it's boring to most people. Believe me, I'm not bored when it comes to going to the lake of fire. I'm not bored.
Come on, bro.
Because that's eternal. I thank you for your time. Appreciate y'all. Hope it's been edifying to y'all so you understand what's going on about this religion. Choose Israel.